Welcome to the Thriving Soulpreneur podcast. This is a space where we talk about human design, spirituality, and neuroscience, all applied to business and money. My purpose is to help struggling solopreneurs to run sustainable businesses, to become financially resilient, and to create powerful change within their communities and beyond. I am your host, Andrea Niño de Guzman, a numbers girl and neuro geek who left the corporate world to do what she does best, to catalyze transformations. I am thrilled and honored to have you here, and I really hope to serve you in the best way possible. Hello, welcome to this new episode of the Thriving Soulpreneur podcast. My name is Andrea, your host of the Thriving Soulpreneur podcast, and as always, it's such a pleasure. And I'm so grateful to have you here listening and tuning in from different parts of the world. It really means the world to me when I get your feedback, telling me, your insights, your opinions of these episodes and how it's resonating with your business and your day today. So right now, at the time that I'm recording this, it's almost 11:30. My kids are asleep. And I'm in the mood for some deep conversation. So I hope that you will join me. So what are we going to talk today about? I want to talk about success and how our definition of success is tied to this perception of failure, and especially the repeating past mistakes. So let's talk about success. We all know that success means something different for each of us, right? Some people are going to value more material things. That's how they're going to define success. For others, success is going to be defined by certain types of experiences. There may be other markers around, health and well-being, maybe the types of relationships that you are having, or how you are living your life. And maybe it could be a combination of all these, right? It doesn't have to be one or the other. But what is true is that everyone values and defines their vision of success very, very differently. So I want us to dive deeper into this and talk about a very specific issue that I see coming up in the coaching industry. But for that to happen, just entertain me. Allow me to just guide you through this process of connecting to your vision. So when you're ready, I just want you to close your eyes and imagine yourself or see yourself or feel yourself in that moment where you've basically made it. Where you think and feel that, yes, it happened. I can't believe it's happening. I made it. It's working. I have everything. Everything that I've always desired. It's around me. It's within me. It's here. And just connect to that feeling in your heart. You're just so excited. You're just so grateful. You're just so happy that it happened. That you have access to all of this, maybe some things that you always just really, really longed for, really desired. And you just have them right now. Everything that you've ever desired is right here. This is your vision of success. This is the vision of you being your most widely abundant self. And wherever that is and whatever that is or how that looks like, just connect with it, with your emotions, with your imagination, with your senses. Just allow yourself to just be in that moment. And if you can, just notice what's going on around you. Notice the environment where you're at. Notice who you're with, what you're doing. Just connect to that possibility, that potential of your most wildest, abundant self, living your most successful moment. in your business, in your life, in your relationships, in your health, however you want to define it. And think about what's happening. What are you most proud of at that moment? What are you most grateful for? What do you value the most at that moment where you're living your most wildly abundant life, most successful life, where you've just made it? And what becomes possible for you now? What's the impact that you're creating? Not just for yourself, for your family, but for others, for your community, for the greater of the good, or for the whole. What type of impact is it? How are you expanding your work, your legacy? And how does that make you feel? What do you believe about yourself? How do you see yourself? What do you value about yourself? What's your life like? Again, your relationships. How do you spend your time? What excites you the most? So connect, not just mentally, but emotionally as well, to that vision. And now I want you to just embody the here and the now. Just come back here and now. And start connecting to where you are now, right now, in this moment in your business. And maybe you're at that moment where you're just thinking about starting a business. Maybe considering a big pivot in your business. You're in the moment of gaining or pushing or more momentum into your business. So wherever you're at, just notice the difference between where you're at, what's happening right now in your business, the situations and what you're facing, and where your vision, where your desire, that potential that you're creating, where you want to be at. So have that clear distance and difference between where you're at right now and where you want to be. And now I just want you to allow a specific voice to come through. And this voice is the one that I call yeah, but. And how this voice shows up is telling you, yeah, this is all pretty. That vision is really nice, but... So I'm going to give you some examples of how it might show up. Yeah, but you don't really have enough experience. You're not certified. So are you sure you can do all this? Yeah, but you really can't compare yourself to Coach XYZ. I mean, she has over 1 million followers. She has a podcast. She has an amazing offer. She's basically everywhere. Everybody knows her. Of course, everybody wants to work with her. Why would they work with you? Yeah, but I don't think anybody's going to want to pay so much for your services. Who are you to charge so much? Yeah, but you know what? Building a business of such magnitude, how you envision it, that would mean not seeing your kids in like forever. Yeah, and building a business on your own, you know what that means? It means that you're not going to have time for anything else. Are you ready for that? Yeah, but what's going to happen when things get difficult? What's going to happen? What if you don't make it? Who's going to help you? You can't rely on anybody. You're on your own. Yeah, but what's going to happen when they steal all of your ideas? I mean, they're obviously going to have more success with it than you, right? Yeah, but what's going to happen when people at work find out what you're up to? Are they going to be okay with this? Yeah, but what are you going to tell them when you want to build your business in this crazy way? They're not going to understand you. They're not going to take you seriously. Yeah, but nobody's going to want to hire you, especially corporate, if you talk about so much woo. Woo in business, they don't add up. Yeah, but you know what? You have 0 business experience. So I don't know how you're going to build a business on your own. That's not you. You just don't have what it takes. So you see this voice? This is what I call the yeah, but voice. So as you connect to your vision and as you connect to where you're at in this moment, just notice what are the yeah, buts that are coming up for you. And again, just no judgment. If you want to write them down, write them down. It really is more about just gaining awareness. And now keep them handy. Now let's talk about what's going on and what I see going on in the coaching space with this yeah buts. What I see that's happening is that there's this intense effort in the coaching industry to drown this voice. Keep it quiet. Or if it shows up, just be able to quiet it quickly. Don't let it surface. Shut it down, quiet it, and please, don't let it interfere with your manifestation, because then this shows up, it triggers your emotions, and that's going to mess up with what you're manifesting. So by all means, let's just quiet it, ignore it, make it go away. But the truth is that this voice, as toxic and as negative as it might seem, it really brings information. And this is something that I've only been able to understand by deeply studying human design and gene keys, of how important it is to embrace all sides of you. The light, the shadows, the good, the bad, everything, because all of it carries information. And as you transit through that information, that's where you reach the gift. So the key is to work with this voice, with this energy. It's not about ignoring it. It's not about shutting it down. It's not about fixing it. It's working with it. It's embracing it and working with it. Because if you keep on ignoring it, if you keep on, shutting it down, quieting it down, it's just going to keep on showing up repetitively, showing up. And it's going to continue influencing your thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors, because what this voice brings is protection. Believe it or not, as toxic and as negative as it might sound, it brings protection. It's inspired by this aspect of you, your subconscious mind, that is trying to protect you from repeating a past mistake. And that's the second thing that I want us to address. Sometimes, there's so much energy tied up with mistakes, especially mistakes from the past. Because we hear often of, if it happens once, okay. If it happens twice, okay, shame on you. And if it happens 3 times, shame on me, or it's something like that, right? But it's like, it shouldn't happen more than once. You can't not repeat past mistakes. Sometimes even it's more of you cannot make mistakes ever, or, do you know what's at stake if you make a mistake? Right? We hear all that stuff. And when we hold this vision, this potential that enamors us, that makes us feel whole and complete and when we allow ourselves to connect to this possibility of, wow, this can be amazing. And wow, it's so amazing to have this impact and to have all these things and to be able to live this life. And then when we connect to where we're at, sometimes the distance is so big that you don't really want to mess it up, especially if you've messed things up in the past, right? And then that triggers a whole other, or opens up a whole other can of worms around our sense of self-worth, our lovability, our courage, our authenticity, our how empowered we feel, how much we trust ourselves. It just triggers so much in so much judgment, so much fear, so much doubt, so much criticism around ourselves and our potential. And that is highly driven by this notion of you cannot mess up. You cannot repeat the same mistake again. You have to get it right. And the more pressure that you have in your external reality, in your context, say if you're the main breadwinner, if you are leaping from a very high profile job to start something on your own, or if you are basically burning your business down to start something new, even though what you had was already profitable, if you're in this process of taking that big leap, then that judgment and that fear of failure becomes even bigger, even bigger. And I'm not here to tell you, just go with it, face the fear and do it anyway, because I don't think that's sound advice. It's more about, okay, let's sit with this fear. Let's sit with this fear. Let's sit with the voice. Let's sit with what's happening and kind of like dig deep and to see, where is this coming from? Why is this showing up? And not more than why, but what information is this bringing? Because maybe this voice, this fear that we're experiencing is just the tip of the iceberg. And as we connect with it and as we work through it, we're going to dive deeper into the real situation of what's going on. And more often than not, the real situation has something to do with our past. And I've seen many cases where people are reacting from past events that are, the current event is triggering a past memory, and they're in that past memory and they're reacting from that past memory in an effort not to make the same mistake, not to repeat that same mistake, right? So all of this is not something that you can work at the conscious level, because all of this is deeply rooted in your subconscious. And in some cases, it goes way beyond that. It comes from your energy. It's inherited from past lives, from past generations. So it requires a lot of deep work. For me, this is one of the main reasons why I created Resiliency to Prosperity. It's to help you identify these yeah buts, the ones that are keeping you stuck, the ones that keep you doubting, the ones that keep you in hiding, so that we can work with them, we can reformulate them, we can buddy up with them, so that this subconscious force knows that now you are safe, that knows that building a business can be safe. It knows that you can be successful on your own terms, and that it just knows that everything is going to be okay, is okay, and is going to be okay, right? And why is this important for me? Because I experience it on a constant basis. I've been doing a lot of personal work for years. I know a lot of people who've been doing a lot of personal work for many, many years, but this stuff constantly keeps on showing up. Constantly. For me, in October, my focus, my yeah, but voice was, yeah, but what if it doesn't work out? What if you don't make enough money? How are you going to pay for all your bills? Do you realize how irresponsible that would be? And this is coming from not the 41-year-old Andrea who has been on her own for 3 years, but it's coming from 6-year-old Andrea who heard her parents talking about how building a business on your own was the most irresponsible thing that you could do. Right? It's from that messaging that I received when I was young. That's the little girl that's triggering all of this doubt of, what you're doing is really irresponsible, because how are you going to take care of your kids? How are you going to pay for your bills? How are you going to manage your home? How are you going to honor your obligations? How are you going to pull through? Have you realized where the economy is going? All that is not coming from this connected potential of my vision. All that is coming from that little 6-year-old that is scared shitless, right? Especially now, since I'm experiencing so much uncertainty. I mean, if you've been following me, you know that I let a big client go in October because it just didn't feel aligned. That meant letting go of a steady paycheck or a steady, income stream, and Now I'm in the process of reformulating many of my offers, reformulating much of my focus. There's a lot of change, there's a lot of shift, a lot of stuff going on at home as well. So obviously, yes, I'm going to feel that pressure. And it's when I feel that pressure that this yeah, but voice comes up, because I know that this yeah, but voice is trying to protect me from something, right? But at the same time, and this is something that I realized today, is at the same time, while it's trying to protect me, it also takes away a lot of energy. If I don't use the appropriate tools to address it, if I just let it be, if I just let it sit, it's going to keep on going and going and going and going and going. And it keeps me from focusing on what really matters, which is, talking about my offers, building genuine connections, spending quality time with my children, focusing on the relationships that I want, to foster, creating new things. And instead, it just keeps me stuck. It doesn't help me move forward. It doesn't change things. It just keeps me stuck. That's until I remember that I have the tools to move away from that stuckness. And in my case, I go back to my hypnosis. I do my energy clearing. I connect within. I connect with my guides. Sometimes I go for a run or for a walk. But as I breathe and I start feeling more reconnected to my true nature, to my wildly abundant being, to my authentic self, and as I see and I name and what's going on, up until I do that, then it just kind of controls me, and keeps me stuck in this loop. So for me, having and allowing others and teaching others how to use these tools is really, really important, because I feel that we are all here to be of impact, to create impact. But sometimes that impact requires us to step into the unknown. It requires us to pivot. It requires us to take big leaps, which may feel scary. And until you don't have those tools of how to friend these, the scary, how to become friends with this highly critical and toxic voice, how to be friends with the yeah buts, then you're going to be stuck in that loop of not enoughness, of self-doubt, of not moving forward. And if you are ready to transform these yeah buts, then, I'm going to say Resiliency to Prosperity is the best program to do so. We're going to work together for 20 weeks, almost meeting one-on-one, almost weekly, but also in a group. And we're going to dive deep into your human design, your subconscious mind, your thoughts, your beliefs, your belief systems, your habits, your attitudes, and also your emotions. We're going to go deep, deep, deep into that so that you can emerge as your most wildly abundant self, knowing that you are friends with the yeah but. So you don't have to fight, you don't have to hide, you don't have to fix anything, but you're embracing the gifts that all of this gives you, so that when you then connect to that vision, to that potential of what you want to bring, then you don't receive any pullback or pushback from it. You just consider that and know that you are worthy of having that you are worthy of receiving all that abundance, all that success, however you imagine it, whenever you imagine it, but you're worthy of having that with that clear certainty that you can have it just because of who you are, without any pressure to prove yourself, to overwork yourself, to burn yourself out, to sacrifice anything. And that for me is huge. So anyway, I'm off my soapbox. I would love to know what resonated with you from this episode. I would love to know your vision. For me, hearing other people's visions of success lights me up. I love it. Love it. It's one of my favorite things to do. And it's my favorite thing, my favorite way of connecting with others. So if you want to share it, please send me a message on Instagram. I'm over at andrea.transformationcatalyst. I'd love to hear your thoughts about what are your yeah buts, and how we can work together to move forward with this. And if you feel that somebody really needs to hear this because they are feeling stuck, they're in the cycle of self-doubt or of just criticism, then just share it with them, this episode. And if you want to know more about Resiliency to Prosperity, reach out to me. The new cohort is opening on November 28th. So you are right on time to sign up for this. We obviously have, different payment plans, different ways of working together. But definitely reach out to me. This is a really, really, really great program that can definitely help you transform these buts. All right. Awesome. Have a great week. I love you all. I'm sending you all the best and amazing energy of the world. And I will catch you later.